podcasters, if you are intrepid enough to venture to my YouTube channel, which I will put in my Facebook and Instagram post links, you can find this video somewhere on the YouTubes. Oh fuck, I'm gonna have to move around for this shit, aren't I? Okay, so, hi world, this is me. This is what I look like when I'm filming an episode, sorta. I usually don't have pants on, but I do this time because you don't want to see that. What's that sound? Stop it. You guys are gonna get the uncut version of this probably. I don't want to edit two things. My microphone was making a weird sound. It does that a lot, which is why I have to cut in and out. My hair looks better than I thought it would. Okay, so delving right in, there are some neurotransmitters that you need to be familiar with. That is dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, GABA, and glutamate? That's like the new fun trend everyone's researching, so they don't have a ton of information about it yet, but everybody thinks it's important when it comes to depression, so we'll find out. The truth is, our brain is still a fucking mystery. That's the final frontier. Shit, we don't know. We've been studying this thing for decades and we don't know a goddamn thing about it. So, that's why I guess it's so interesting to me. It's still so mysterious. You know me, I like mystery. That's why I choose the worst fucking boyfriends. I take that back. I'm gonna edit that out. I'm too lazy to edit that out. Okay, so what I drew here is a beautiful picture of a brain. Look at that brain. Look at that little temporal lobe slipping off there. That's a thick-ass brainstem. That brainstem's thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. And as you can see, I zoomed in on the brain and I drew a little picture of what a neuron looks like within the brain. And branching off from the neuron, you have axons and dendrites. Now, dendrites are all over the goddamn place, but axons are like the big, stocky, tree trunk type version of the dendrites. Dendrites are the branches, and the axon is the trunk of the tree of knowledge. So, as you can see in the picture, if you're looking at my video, the dendrites meet up with each other because our brain has a bajillion neurons in it. So when those dendrites meet up, they send information between each other. Chemicals, neurotransmitters. This is where they do their job. So what I'm going to do while attempting to draw on a whiteboard while holding a microphone. Fuck. Brandy hits me different. This is interesting. I'm gonna fucking glare on this. Okay. I'm gonna circle this area. And we're gonna zoom in there where the dendrites meet each other. And this is called the synapse. So, in this area, we've got two lovely little, I don't know what to fucking call it other than a synapse. Shit. So imagine, if you're not watching the video, that there is one little bubble. The bubble at the end of one of the tree limbs. And this has a little hole in it. And this is where it releases different chemicals so that it can meet up with the other dendrite on the other side of the synapse. If you're watching Looney Tunes, you're watching Wile E. Coyote, and he is on top of a cliff. He's in that Grand Canyon area he always seems to hang out in. And there's that big cliff in between. This is the area in between the synapses. It's the synaptic cleft, I want to say. Shit, it's been a while. Anyway, neurotransmitters travel along the synaptic cleft. They're like Wile E. Coyote trying to get from one cliff to the other by jumping across. And sometimes they're successful, sometimes they're not. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. So, as you can see, there are receptors on the other end of the dendrite. So, we have a channel where information is passed from one dendrite to the other. And this is how information is passed within your brain. These chemicals go back and forth and they tell your brain how you're feeling, which then distributes that throughout the rest of your body. So this is where we get into all of the different neurotransmitters and how they affect what's happening within you. So we have, imagine little bubbles filled with all kinds of dots, which is what I'm drawing. Now, all of those dots are their neurotransmitters, and the bubbles are the proteins and everything that make them. So these want to release. It's their job to go outside and travel down to the receptor and send out positive, happy vibes. So, there are a lot of different things that could happen with depression. Those bubbles that hold all of the neurotransmitters could not be very good. It's fucking up again. Shit. Ah, there we go. So all of those little bubbles could be bad at producing the neurotransmitters, all the little dots inside of the bubble. So maybe your body just isn't making enough of a certain thing. Maybe you just don't have enough serotonin or don't have enough dopamine to be happy or to get that pleasant experience when the neurotransmitter travels through the synaptic cleft to the receptor in the other dendrite. Hey, cat. So you could also have other issues. Fuck. I'm used to this gesture. You could have a receptor that doesn't unlock when the protein gets there or the neurotransmitter gets there. You could have a greedy ass cleft. And what I mean by that is that the cleft that is releasing the neurotransmitters into the, I keep saying cleft. So the synapse that is sending all of the neurotransmitters down to these receptors, it could be greedy and it could hang on to them. It brings them all back up so none of them are actually delivered to the receptor, which becomes an issue. And that's where serotonin reuptake inhibitors work. They stop your main synapse from being greedy and hanging on to things and let it just send them along so they follow their own path and get to the receptors and do their job. That's why so many different medications work for different people. Some people might like tricyclic antidepressants, others like the SSRIs. Like, there are so many different causes of depression. So when you say you have a chemical imbalance, that could be so many different things causing it that they don't even know if they've done enough research to figure out all of the different ways that it's affecting your brain. Now, some people believe that this chemical imbalance is the total explanation for everything. I think it's a combination of stuff. You could have these discrepancies in your neurotransmitters and not feel severe effects of depression, I believe. But maybe there are external events that exacerbate that. Either way, there's a lot of different things that could go wrong within that whole neurotransmitter process that could lead to feeling depressed and not having enough energy. Anxiety, it works in a similar way. It also has to do with some of those chemicals that are going back and forth between synapses. But what you're working with anxiety is more of the norepinephrine and GABA. It came apart. Shit. That's not supposed to happen. What is this? Well, maybe I can fix it better if this has happened. This was a Christmas gift. I don't have a warranty. God, what is that? Can any of my techie listeners help me? Any of the 5 of you? Shit, I gotta take care of this.